Today's video, we're going to start out here on the back porch. I'm pointed directly southeast right now. And you can see this is the morning sky. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. And you can see the sun is just, as it's coming up this morning, it's coming to the east and it's going to move across the sky to the west. So at winter time, it's going to be very low in the sky, and so this room should get a lot of sun this winter. Now here's a picture of this week's garden. Last week I planted the cover crop, and you can see it's starting to come up now pretty good. And this is a mixture of that green manure. Now, I added a whole lot more rye grass to this, and I have this thing seeded way too heavy. But you can't buy the small quantities I really needed to do it. But it's taken off. Here's a little closer shot of it. You can see it's, I got a nice stand. Now this top dirt, it's a mixture of just my sawed off my grasses and a mixture with the mushroom manure. So that's just really on top. It's probably 2 or 3 inches thick, and then it's just that old dry clay underneath that. But I want to take some of that dry clay in, and we're going to look at it and compare it to Terrence's compost he sent me. Try to get an idea of the difference of the two. Now here's the 3 soils laid out together on a piece of paper. The one on the left is Terrence's compost. Now, it's dry yet. That's the way it was shipped, so I'm going to wet it down here in a little bit, and then we'll take a closer look at it. The one in the center, further away from us, that's a mixture of mushroom manure and my clay. And the one on the right is, that's my clay dirt. That's really what this whole yard is made up of. Now, the clay and that mushroom manure, it's got a heavy dew this morning, so it has a little bit of moisture. But let's wet down Terrence's compost and take a look at it. Okay, here's Terrence's compost wetted down. You can certainly see a lot of organic matter in it. It has a dark, rich, chocolate brown color. You know, as I look at this stuff, I have no experience. I'm going to assume that this is the ideal compost, and until I find out differently with a microscope, I'm going to use that as my reference point for all others. Now this is the topsoil of my garden. It's a mixture of mushroom manure and clay. And you can see there's a lot more organic matter in it, and you can see some of the black pieces, which is really burnt compost from the mushroom manure. But I'm going to check it out too when I get the microscope. Now this is the soil here on my ground. Of course, it was purchased, and I think all it is silts and clays. It was brought from a riverbed somewhere and put in here. But as you can see, there's just no organic matter. It's just pebbles, silt, sands. You know, it's I just don't think there's much in it that's going to cause any growth. So that's what we're going to try to work on changing. Terrence also sent me some tomato seeds. He said these are the ones to have when you want to cook with them. So I'm going to give them a try. They're a heritage seed. And if you look at the back, you can see they're a fairly long tomato. I mean, they're an 80-day. Most of the stuff we grow around here is up taking 50, 55 days. But anyway, we're going to give these a try. Now what I did is I mixed all 3 of the soils we had on the table a little bit ago and put it in a box. I don't really have little potting containers to plant these seeds in, so I mixed all the soils together and put them in here, and I'm going to plant several seeds in this box and get them started while the weather's still you can see that these things are really small little seeds. So I'm going to plant these 5 in the box to get things started. There we go, all 5 seeds planted. And we're going to check on these things over the next week, and let's take a look at how they're doing. Here's my new lab setup. You see I got everything ready to go when the microscope comes in. It'll be sitting in the middle. But right now I have a couple samples of dirt. You can see now Right here is about 1 milliliter of Terrence's compost, and here's about 1 milliliter of the dirt right out of my garden. I took multiple samples out of the garden, and I'm going to check it for biology when I get my microscope in. Now here's the 2 soil samples. You can see the compost here on the side, and I'll tell you, it just feels like sawdust to me. I don't know. Now here's out of my garden. You can see there's a whole bunch of just organic roots and things in it. And it's been that way for a month now. It has not rotted up, and that's what's leading me to believe there might be bacteria in there, but there's no fungus to eat that stuff up. So we'll see. Here's my setup for sprouting these tomato plants. This window's pointed directly west. It's not the best setup at all, and you can see it's a sunny day outside, and I'm getting a little sun in here. I removed the screen out of that window. It's a window seat. It's a great spot, but it's pointed west, so I'm only going to get the afternoon and evening sun. It's the best I got.